Music's always been around since the day I was conceived. My father is a first generation classical musician in Thailand. So when you're born in a home where violin lies around with soccer ball, tennis racket, you just started fooling around with it. I performed my first public performance when I was 10.
10? How did you feel that day? Were you nervous?
Yeah, I didn't have any money to eat anything. But like I said, when you struggle and you don't give up, often a shining light came along, and that was in the form of, that's it.
Yale or
That's
nothing?
all I got. Because that's the only place I wanted to be.
You just put it all on Yale.
I was all in.
Wow.
He is the father figure of musical theater in Thailand. I met him at a party like we did. It was a house party, simple rooftop actually.
Yeah.
Honestly, half drunk, we're just fooling around. And you know me, just t-shirt, jeans, barefoot, just rocking it out,
Yep.
jamming with people. And he was there. He saw that. He was like, what is this? You've done so much in different businesses. And I would have thought someone like you would jump into arts. That's not something you would collect arts, but invest your time and
Yeah.
efforts, creativity, and you sweat it out.
Yeah.
Why? Changing the order is here now. You got to think differently. You approach differently. That's why you've been seeing my orchestra lurking around here and there, because this is something that I want to recreate. It's about building a new economy.
I mean, what are the three main ingredients, if you had to say three things, in order to have a successful music school? I just finished a fantastic conversation with my good friend Paye, also known as Dr. Akkrawat Srinarong. He built a school from scratch in Bangkok called Vemus International School of Music. After 16 years, they are still going strong with over 250 students. And he's the only person with a doctoral degree in violin performance in Thailand. He is so passionate about music. If this is something that interests you, please have a listen, like, and subscribe. Okay, so what I want to actually ask you is, I want to start off, I want to understand like how you first started getting into music. And the question I have for you is like, where did you grow up first?
All right. Well, thank you for having me, first of all. It's a privilege to be learning from you as well. Mr. Nedley, you are quite an entrepreneur and with lots of journey, but hopefully I'll be able to share some fun stories about my life. Music has always been around since the day I was conceived, I think. Wow. I was born into a pretty musical family.
Okay.
My father is a first generation classical musician in this country. So he's one of the pioneers that basically started and set up education and professional systems that exist today as we know it. So him and his peers done great things for Thailand in music industry. So when you're born in a home where violin lies around with soccer ball, tennis racket, you just started fooling around with it. So just a photo of me fooling around with a violin. Eventually I broke it.
Yeah.
And I was 3 years old. So that was, I think, my first exposure to holding an instrument. So, it could have been guitar, it could have been anything, right? But for our household, it was a string instrument.
Yeah.
So I was very familiar with that. I think the key was the environment.
Yeah.
So the way that I approach music, the way that I advised my students or people I work with, young people that I work with, and even parents, is the fact that you have to create the right environment at home seamlessly, okay? You don't want to make it obvious, but if you want your child to read books, create a corner and build a really sort of aesthetic library corner with a nice lighting, just like we're in this model studio today.
And so your dad, was there music that he was playing in the house a lot?
No, he was a professional musician. He's still alive and well.
Yep. I met your dad. I met
Yes,
your
you
mom
have. He remembers you.
more than once. Lovely, lovely people.
Lovely people.
Yeah.
My dad was a professional violinist. He, like I said, one of those pioneers who started the first chamber orchestra in Thailand, and the founding members of the today so-called Royal Bangkok Symphony, where he led the orchestra for 16 years.
Very good.
You know, so I was born into classical music, jazz, everything, because at home we listen to a lot of music. Do we play music together a lot? Not really. When you're in professional music household, you don't really jam per se. That's what people think.
Not
right?
jam with the family.
Not really.
Did your mom play music? Was she?
My mom was an avid singer.
Okay.
She still sings now and then.
Yeah.
But she was professionally a Thai literature teacher.
Okay.
So my dad was also part of the university setup that brought over a demonstration school concept called Saathit, which is like a very forward-thinking Thai school concept for the last 50 years. It's called demonstration school because it's like a sandbox, right? So kids who attend these schools, they become outgoing, they're prone to trials and errors.
Yeah.
And I'm telling this to you and for the Thai audience that having been educated in Thai schools really did help me in many senses to be really grounded.
Yes.
You know, and at the same time being pretty joyful and also learning what you're supposed to learn, but have that both sides of the world. But still enough international exposure that when I left for London when I was 15, I felt an ease of merging into a British, European culture without much of a problem.
Yeah, your education is incredible. It's quite deep and vast. One of the things I'm curious about before that is, was there like a moment or time where you realized like you have a passion for music? I assume similar to dad or mom. Like, was there a moment where like, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life?
Very good question. Very good question. I started picking up instruments when I was 3, started piano lessons, I don't know, 6, together with violin. I love standing up and playing, so piano wasn't something that I was into so much, which I do regret, by the way. I wish I could have done a lot more piano training.
Oh, okay.
So useful.
And
I urge you to take it up because it's...
I used to take piano. I did. Yeah, when I was a kid, I was very into piano.
Awesome.
Yeah, but one other question I have is your sisters. They're younger, is that right?
They're younger.
Okay, where did they come in to play with the music? Did they seem to follow a similar path as you, like that?
Very. Like I said, family matters the most.
Yeah.
The environment that you had at home. I have a younger sister who's 2 years younger than me. And, we were growing up together initially. The little one's 9 years younger, so there's a massive gap there, and I wasn't around so much when she was growing up. Anyhow, music was just toys, right, that we play around with, and we absorbed that. Not just the sense of playing an instrument. Of course, we were kids. We weren't like one of those, trained Korean, Chinese kids who have, the tiger parents just kind of put them into the room and practice 3 hours every day.
So you had that. Was there a lot of focus from mom and dad on practice?
Not really, no.
Okay.
Never. But my dad basically taught us how to get things done, not to be told what to do. Mm-hmm. So that sort of consequence of your action is basically what we learn, right? We don't practice, you don't learn the song. Mm-hmm. You can't play it, and that's on you. So I think music is great like that. Doesn't matter how much money you have or who your parents are. If you don't play, if you don't practice how to sing, you can't sing a song.
Yeah.
It's on you, right? You can't buy your way in.
That's right.
With music and sports.
Yeah, your passion is so tremendous, and I truly enjoy watching you perform with your sisters, watching you perform in front of your orchestra, but also listening to you talk about it. There's so much passion in there. And the next thing I want to learn about is, you touched on it already, but your first foray into, I guess, education abroad. Okay, you left Thailand and you started school. Was it Purcell?
Purcell, very good.
Yeah, it was Purcell.
Well, it's an interesting school, but sorry, I didn't quite answer all your questions. I think the calling really came early.
Yeah.
I was lucky to have music around me. I performed my first public performance when I was 10.
10.
Relatively young, but not that young. These days, they started much earlier.
Yeah, and that was a violin.
It was a violin solo concert.
So how big was the audience?
Like 250.
How did you feel that day? Were you nervous?
I had a great time.
So it was just like totally natural, comfortable.
I had a great time. I think when you're a kid,
that's so good.
Those things didn't really bother you so much. You just kind of go and do it. And the more you are exposed to something, you know the drill. You think too much, and you're starting to be concerned about something that you shouldn't be concerned about.
Don't overthink it.
Don't overthink. Never stop being a kid. Sometimes you just have to do.
So that first performance, you're 10. At the end of that, what did you feel like? Was it exhilarating, amazing?
Yeah, I felt that violin could be cool. I really felt that, but I didn't know what to do with it. Okay. Right? The pain point of playing classical instruments back, we're talking 35 years ago in Bangkok, is that nobody really played it.
Yeah.
When you're that young, maybe more piano playing than string instruments.
Yeah.
A lot of guitar players, obviously, because it's a cool thing to do, right? Lead guitar, electric guitar, just Steve Vai era. Everyone wants to be guitar heroes.
Yeah.
So when you're in school playing the violin, it's a little bit off.
Yeah.
You're not one of the cool kids. But since my mom and dad also taught at the school, I'm kind of like well protected.
Okay. Yeah,
and we were the only school. My dad did an incredible job. I learned this so much from him. He built the first ever symphony orchestra within a single school.
Wow.
In Southeast Asia.
What year was this?
And this is 40 years ago.
40 years ago. So this was a pretty sizable school that you were growing up in.
Satik Kasayat is a pretty big school.
How many students was it back then?
We have 1,000.
1,000.
Also, not the biggest though.
Was this an exclusively music school, or just a school that had also music?
It's a normal Thai school based upon university curriculum.
Okay.
So every single major universities would have this demonstration school that exists within the campus.
Okay.
Where you are exposed to normal education, but you are also a part of the Department of Education in the university, where they train teachers to do different things, different ways, and music was, a pretty important part of the school.
And your dad and mom worked at that school?
Yes, they met at that school.
They met at that school?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's how they met, got married. Yeah. I was born.
And your dad was teaching music, and your mom was teaching music there together?
My mom was teaching Thai.
She was teaching Thai.
Language.
All right.
Yes.
And then your dad was he like in charge of the music department?
He was in charge of a music program. Yeah. He built an orchestra. He taught everything.
Wow. So
back in the day, you have to be able to teach guitar, singing, trumpet.
It's fantastic.
And at the same time, he was playing professionally with Bangkok Symphony.
Okay.
So I would, ride with him to the rehearsals. 6 to 9 p.m. I still remember. And I would fall asleep right in front of the orchestra.
Yeah.
Imagine a little kid not knowing what a symphony was and just falling asleep. But the fact that you are around that, I really give big credits on that, because you in that environment, you absorb into your skin the kind of music, the kind of sound. And then occasionally we would be, my sisters and I would be brought over to a recording studio where my dad would have a nice session recording, Thai so-called Luk Thung song, like a country music song. And back then it was really cool because country music was pretty big. And the cool thing is that they never use synthesizer. They
Was
use
it
natural instruments.
100% acoustic? Is that what that is?
Most of it, yes.
Yeah, okay.
Nowadays, everything is done by a computer and the
course.
sound is synthetic, which is fine. I mean, times have changed. But all these classic recordings, if you go back even, for the Western world, you appreciate that raw feeling to recording sessions because there's not much of an editing process. It's either good or just not good, right? And I would fall asleep in the recording studio. My dad would be recording 10 songs in an album. Back then, music industry was booming, recordings. Vinyl was selling out, way before the nerds and tech industry comes in and basically change the game.
Yeah, that was a big change.
So music was done by musicians and people who understood music industry. Even in business side of things, they really understood and care about musicians and artists and songwriters and lyricists.
Yeah. Let me ask you about the next I'm really curious about this leap from the school that you were going to here in Bangkok to London. How did that happen, or why? What was the motivation?
No, when you say I left Bangkok, yes, I did leave when I was 15, but I felt that I have left the system a couple of years before that. So it was, I think a calling is real. Something told me that music chooses me, and I'm gotta embark on this journey of the unknown. But when you said, okay, how do you choose the instruments? I really feel the opposite. I felt
It chose you.
violin chooses me to do certain things.
That's great.
It's my job to go and find out how it is. And, no offense, I was just a kid. I looked around. I played in multiple program concerts, orchestra. I was making money. I was already playing in the orchestra and get paid like professionals. When I was 13 years old, I was touring with Asian Youth Orchestra, which is an Asia setup of the youth orchestra system.
Amazing. You were very advanced, clearly.
Well, locally,
Yes,
which, mind you, didn't really mean very much, okay? But then you're exposed to international level. You see the kids older than you playing incredibly well. You see the bigger industry. You see great conductors that you get to work with.
So walk me through this step from here to London. How did that happen?
Well, very good question. Very, very good question. I gotta look back. I don't think about this too much.
Yeah.
Right, but it's nice to go back and connect the dot. So, as a violinist living in Thailand, you don't get much of an Western music exposure unless somebody brought in big soloist musicians, and the fact that I was, with my dad, part of the industry, I was part of those system. And when there are conductors from the UK, from Europe, from America who came in, I would either play a concert with them and learn, or I would go right up to them and ask them if I could play for them and learn a few things.
Amazing.
Right? In 1994, I met my teacher in London, Mr. Eric Grunberg, the late, great Eric Grunberg. He was already a big figure in classical music in Europe. It's very, very influential. And he was already, I think, in his 60s. Very kind man, incredible players. I still remember that concert that he played, and I was part of the orchestra. So I went over and I asked if I could play for him.
How old were you?
I was 14.
14 that moment.
Yeah, that was, I was kind of playing abroad already, but at that point I already knew that this is something I want to do, and Thailand is not the story for me.
Gotcha.
I gotta be somewhere, because I did not think that I was capable of building anything.
You saw more potential.
Yes, I have to be exposed somewhere where the circuit is there, where the Premier League players, play that game because that's where I wanted to be.
And so what was it like when you arrived there? You were 14 when you arrived in London?
Yeah, I was 14 when I played for this professor, and, he was impressed. And thankfully, he said, why don't you come over to this school called Purcell School, where you learn music as your major, but you also learn other things along the way, like normal students your age would be learning.
Was that a scholarship offer right there?
There was no scholarship offer.
So who paid for this?
Well, a lot of people to thank. You get somewhere and you don't get there alone.
Yeah.
Okay, there's a lot of hands who were reaching out and help. And the fact that I was the only violin kid who was embarking on this. British Council was one of the main players who helped Bangkok Symphony.
Another.
That I'm very grateful. They set up meetings, they set up pathways that would lead to scholarships. And of course, partly from their school itself. But to go and live in London, to be educated there, you still have to be responsible to a lot.
Yes.
So on that note, I have nobody else to thank but my parents. Never forget that they're not business owners. They don't run business. They're teachers. They're great professionals in their own rights. But they are teachers.
So then now you're at Purcell, and what age range or what grades is this school from? From what to what?
Well, anything from I think 10 back then, 10 to up to high school.
Up through high school. And so you finished there. You graduated from there. Is that right?
Yeah, I finished my A levels.
A levels.
Back then there was A levels. So I knew that I wanted to continue my study with my professor at Royal Academy of Music, which is one of the oldest, most prestigious school in Europe.
So you graduated Purcell, entered the Royal Academy, and so what was that? The path to that financially is another question mark for me. Like, how did that happen? Like, was it a scholarship or not?
Well, yes, partial scholarship for sure, but I'm not trying to criticize, but the UK has a really funny system of charging international students different tuition fees.
Okay.
And the local UK pays, I think, 2 or 3 times less than international students.
Okay.
Think about that for a second. It's a lot of money.
Yes.
A lot of money. Yes, I have a pretty good chunk of scholarship offers, but that's still part of the tuition that we have to be responsible. And living in London, even back then wasn't cheap.
It's not cheap.
It wasn't cheap.
Especially compared to Thailand.
I owe everything to my mom and dad, who worked so hard, who managed to get things done. And the first year was difficult because that was the year of the Asian financial crisis, if you remember.
Yes.
1998.
Late 90s,
George Soros and everything, history, all under the bridge now, obviously. But
so here's something I'm curious about. So where were your sisters in all of this? Were they...
They're still in Thailand.
They're still in Thailand, but did they eventually follow in your footsteps as well to the same school path?
Yeah, the younger sister got into college in Thailand for a year before she was offered full scholarship to go study music in Hong Kong.
In Hong Kong.
Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
There was a big one. Very proud.
Okay.
So she was going to a different part, but back then Hong Kong was the place to be to be in music study.
So you were the only one that went to the UK in the family.
I was the only one that went to the UK.
And then at the Royal Academy, that was a 4-year school?
It was a 4-year. I extended 1 year for extra graduate diploma, which is pretty good program.
And your degree at that point, what was it? A degree in?
It was Bachelor of Music.
Bachelor of Music.
Bachelor of Music.
And so you've completed that plus 1 year. Then what happened next?
Right. I was... being in school is one thing, but being trained as music professional was something that I really aspired to do.
Yeah.
So when you are trained, aspired young professionals, you go around traveling through Europe, play concerts, doing competitions. I've done everything. I play in top concert halls. I've also played in restaurants.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just to make money. Yeah. I've washed dishes. I've served wine. Then I realized that washing dishes kind of kills my hand.
Not good.
So it's not something that I want to do. So I shift to everything in music. I would rather play in hotel lobby to make some money than being in the kitchen washing dishes.
How many countries in Europe have you performed in?
Back then, just around Austria, Italy, France, Hungary, Poland, you name it. Not all, but
Yeah, that's good.
but it was an experience.
And so this was kind of like post undergrad. Now you're
No,
like,
this is doing undergrad.
this is doing it during under. So you're now getting like real life experiences in the music entertainment
Yes.
industry.
I mean, like I said, we're young professionals. So being in school is one thing, but to be exposed to an actual career was something that everyone's doing. So we had to get out there, get our names known. Doing competitions, you win some, you lose some, but you are creating your networks, right? And of course, you have to be excellent at what you do. And at least what I thought I was required to do is to be outstanding, be an outstanding performer.
Yes.
So I invested day and night, just practice.
Every day.
I was always a hardworking kid. Actually, a probably harder working kid than I am today. And I got to thank myself back in the days that the resilience, man. And like I said, in 1998, I didn't have any money to eat anything because the exchange rate wasn't kind at all.
That must have been
And my
difficult.
parents did what they could, but like I said, when you struggle and you don't give up, often a shining light came along, and that was in the form of a full scholarship support from the late Royal Highness Princess Kalayani Vatana, who was the older sister of the last king,
Okay.
who came in and saw how poor I was. And she was told by the board member of Bangkok Symphony and said there was this kid getting stuck in London. He's probably going to have to leave. She felt sorry for me, literally, and started a scholarship scheme that would soon become a classical music fund for the next generation.
Wow.
So I was the first recipient. Now there are 40, 50 recipients.
So it started with you. And was that scholarship fund that took you to Yale from
No,
there?
that changed everything, and I realized that what I do matters, and that make you try even harder. You grind a lot more. But then one thing you realize, though, I'm spending 7.5 years in London. I realized that it's not really about how good you are. It's whether or not you are part of the system. And back in the UK back then, they don't extend that much out to international people.
Gotcha.
I just want to be honest, and that's what it was.
Okay.
Things have changed, obviously, but this we're referring to, the millennium. There was not much of us that exists in the classical music industry, and my teacher actually wanted to put me into Vienna and have master degrees there and have my career over there, but I didn't want to speak German, number one, and the 4 or 5 years that I was in conservatory, it was all about music, training, becoming good professionals. But I felt something was missing, Noel. There was something inside me that felt the need to be exposed. And I realized that I didn't know anything about other career paths, other industries. I didn't know anything about music. I didn't know anything about business. And I'm going to go into professional capitalistic world, and I don't know anything about this.
It's a huge difference.
It's a different world.
It's a different
world.
Yeah.
So it was for me to seek a new environment where, number one, I'm exposed to the best music training, the best music school in the world, in the best, most inspiring educational environment where I can be exposed to law, school management, and many other things, and get to know other people and what they do and how they think. And of course, scholarship and other things. And only one place ticked the box, and it was Yale.
Yale.
And the American dream and all that.
Wow.
It's funny enough, I was actually inspired not on the musical side, but on the entertainment side. I love Sex and the City.
Okay.
You
That
know,
was a
and it
good,
was like,
good
wow,
show to watch.
New York.
Yeah.
It was a big show in the UK. People were hooked.
Yep.
And I still remember on Channel 4 once a week, you can't do the rerun. You have to be in front of the television to watch a show. And I'm like, New York's so cool.
Yeah.
I love to be part of this. It's like one of those very simple American dream.
Fantastic marketing tool for New York City.
Fantastic soft power, I'm telling you.
Yes.
That really elevated how people feel about America. Funny enough.
Yeah.
And I was one of them.
Straight to Yale.
It wasn't easy.
Oh, no.
It was the only place I applied. It was like make or break.
That's it.
That's it.
Yale or
That's
nothing.
all I got.
Okay.
Because that's the only place I wanted to be.
You just put it all on Yale.
I was all in.
Wow.
All in.
Love that.
It was stressful.
So good.
I don't recommend it, but if you have the characters, it's the only way to go, man.
Yeah.
The only way to go. And I did what I could, academically, the audition tape, obviously. I did have a funny story for you. A lot of people that you thank along the way, who helped you. One of them was a really lovely lady in admission office at Yale called Jean Cassie, who's no longer with us. Jean Cassie was the person I communicated with. Never met her, and of course Yale required really high TOEFL score.
What kind of score?
TOEFL. TOEFL is the standardized English test that all international students. I mean, you never had to take one, obviously, but if you're getting into universities in America, you're gonna need this.
You
right?
better speak good English.
You better speak proficiently.
Okay. Yeah.
My English was fine.
Okay.
I lived in London 7 years, not an issue, but I didn't have the money to go and take lessons or take the exams. I mean, it was like, $300, $400, $500.
Yeah, it's a lot.
I didn't have that.
Yeah.
So I bought a calling card. I called the office. I spoke to Jean for about 15 minutes.
Jean
Cassie, this admission office lady at Yale. At Yale. She said, hey, this is Paye. I communicated with you through email. I just want to say hello. We had just general conversation. And like, listen, I know that this is needed, but I've lived in London 7 years and, I would really could use some help because $500 is a lot of money for me. And she was like, yeah, we've been speaking 15 minutes. Your English is fine.
Done.
Just tick some box.
Brilliant.
Because what does that teach you? Sometimes the rules of the book say certain ways, right? Mm-hmm. But the struggle kind of leads you to like the path where most people would overlook.
It forces you to get creative.
It forces me to get creative. Yeah. And I realize that, okay, I have pain points. I want to learn more. But I also found that quality in me that would walk different paths. And I noticed that no one, I kid you not, nobody who applied that year successfully did what I did.
Yeah. I love that. That's a great story.
Yeah.
Great story.
And I was like, I would not have that gut to do what I did. But when you're in your 20s, you just kind of dead.
so walk me through what it's like going to Yale. Now you arrived.
Man, the best 3 years, 2 degrees.
2 degrees in 3 years.
2 degrees in 3 years.
What were the degrees?
Well, just masters of music, which, typical. And there's a very special degree where they selected very, very small number of people into the program where you are trained to be an artist. It's called artist diploma. Okay. So you expose yourself to your own mastery and create your own persona as a performer. But that's one thing. I love my friends at Yale. They're great people, cream of the crop.
Yep.
It was a full scholarship school.
Wow.
Which means basically, people who got in, it's a very small percentage of top quality musicians, young musicians. But there were no nerds, man. It was a work hard, play hard kind of environment.
Okay.
We party so much. We learn so much. I sit in, law school classes where I couldn't enter.
So wait, law school?
Yeah, okay. So Yale set up like this. Like there's Yale College,
okay,
which is undergrad, and there's a graduate school,
okay,
which features law school, medical school, school management, as they call it, aka business school, MBA type. I was in Disneyland, man. I would attend college classes. I would go sit in law classes, big professor who I don't know, but I just wanted to be exposed. I would go into business school classes. I met new friends, entrepreneurs.
So you're kind of sneaking into these classes in a way?
I just snuck in.
Yeah,
I mean, you're entitled to.
You can.
They're not going to kick you out.
Yeah. And so that's great. So these are classes you were not supposed to take, not
Never.
signed up for, but you were just curious.
I was just curious.
Yeah, you're interested.
I signed up for a couple of things, mainly Chinese, actually. I wanted to speak a bit of Chinese. And to learn Chinese in Ivy League school, man, if you don't have the balls, don't do it. Those kids are good.
Okay.
They're crazy. They're like you. They're Caucasian.
Okay.
They speak better Chinese than Chinese.
Wow.
Blow my mind.
That's
I
great.
mean, these young students, aspiring, hardworking, they're top of the line people. And it really inspired me to be there and to be exposed. And I was a pretty cool part of the Yale School of Music, where we set up school parties and do cool things, to the point that me and my friends were given money by the school to run parties.
And so were you performing a lot in bars
I was
and clubs?
performing a lot in concert
restaurants?
halls. Carnegie Hall. That was my first time at Carnegie Hall. Around America, I went to Aspen. I went to Spoleto Festival in South Carolina. I spent a month in the summer in Santa Barbara in this top-level music festival. I was just going everywhere.
Great.
But like I said, you win some, you lose some. Like, I applied for certain things, I didn't get in.
Okay.
Just like any aspiring professionals would do. But there was something that was really cooking, and it's the creativity and soon I didn't know what it was back then, but looking back, I think it was a true entrepreneurial exposure that really ignited the spirit that I really did have for a long time, because what I wanted to do with classical music shift from being one of the better ones to one of the ambassadors, one of the advocates of music, where I really do wish I could extend it to a bigger audience. I mean, when you talk about classical music, what do you hear? Oh, small audience, nobody goes to concerts, we don't understand symphonies, violin is just too difficult to listen and understand compared to what pop music and stuff, right? Yeah. I wanted to change that.
Yeah.
I didn't know how, though. At Yale, I started learning from other people. I asked them questions. Then you put yourself into sandbox and you explore. We did a concert at Starbucks.
It's amazing.
And it was rare. Nobody did it.
It's right in Manhattan?
No, right at on campus in New Haven.
Okay.
Yeah, and I was creating stuff. I was playing concerts in different places, playing kind of different reps. I started writing my own stuff, doing my own thing. But of course, maintaining my classical professional career, just like anybody else. But, as you were exposed, then I got to New York. I started my doctoral program at Stony Brook University, which is in Long Island, but I lived in the city.
Wow. So, okay, this is the part that's really intriguing to me, because I remember meeting you, and I remember meeting you at a rooftop here in Bangkok, and it was a big event, and I saw you perform with your sisters, and I'd never seen anything like it before, and it was a stunning performance.
It was a good first meeting because I didn't have to introduce myself.
Yes, but I introduced myself to you, and you were so kind, you were so humble, you were so friendly, and I don't know if it was that night that I learned, but at some point, I learned that you had a PhD in music, and when I heard that, it gave me pause, because I'd never heard of a PhD in music. You don't have a lot of experience being around a lot of people who have PhDs, so it's very rare. But I've been around some people, but computer science or math, and all of a sudden, here's this young gentleman who has a PhD in music, but is performing like a star on the stage. So that was just something amazing to me. So I want to understand, at what point did you decide that I want to get a PhD? How did that happen?
Very good question. And, since we built from scratch podcast, I'll be as honest as I can. Okay, because to build something, you need to have a clear purpose of why you do it. remember the Sex and the City story?
Yeah.
New York was the place for me. I told my parents, my family that, I'm forever grateful for what they've done for me. But I think this is where I'm going to be. I want to be in New York. New York was, mind you, in early 2000s,
That was
just blowing up.
That was your
Everything.
calling.
That was my calling.
Yeah.
I love New York. I love the energy as a 20-something. And classical music is like a melting pot.
Yeah.
All the best of the best of the best. They come in and out. They live there. You rub shoulders with people like Yo-Yo Ma and all this greatness, right? And just like the song, gotta go be a part of it, right? And that was a dream for me, and which leads to another thing called I-20.
I-20.
You know what I-20 is?
Don't know.
It's a legitimate visa that makes you stay as a foreign.
Okay, it allows you to stay in America.
Yes, you can't get that right now. By the way, it's all
Okay.
shut.
So to get an I-20,
You gotta be enrolled
enrolled into a doctorate program?
into a program,
Of any-
just a legitimate program.
Okay.
And then leads to other things that you do all the papers so that you can lawfully work and study.
So your ticket to staying longer term in New York, in America, was to continue your education.
Yes, and no brainer. Okay, I've done my master's. Where else do I go?
Yeah.
Got to go higher education.
That's the next step.
But my doctoral goal was not to obtain that, but to be exposed.
Yeah.
So Stony Brook, not a familiar name. I could have applied to a more elite establishment, but my goal was number one to be into New York performing scenes. Number two, to work with the best, and Stony Brook has one of the best faculties you can ask for, and the flexibility of balancing the study and work.
Now, is this so again, the same question, finances. How is this being paid for? How is this
Absolute full scholarship with expenses
from
school.
From the school. Okay,
Yes.
so the royal family.
Once you're in,
That's it.
yeah, I stopped asking for royal family support from Yale on.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, they supported me 4 years in London. That was something that I'm forever grateful. But
And is Stony Brook, is that a school specific for music, or is it other?
it's a university famous for medical school, actually.
Okay,
Medical
okay.
school in nursing, very big. Part of SUNY, so State University of New York.
Yeah.
Stony Brook is famous for their music program. Yes. So it's full of people like me who wants to have a career, but at the same time wanting to have that higher education stamp on it.
Yeah.
So a lot of international students, top of the line people, Americans who want to have a doctoral degree so that they can make use of it, applying for jobs and things like that.
Not too many Thai students go there for PhDs, I imagine.
No, I still remain the only violinist in Thailand with
a
a
PhD.
doctoral degree from international institutions.
Wow.
There are lots now. Local universities have started a PhD program in music, and that's fine.
Here in Thailand?
In Thailand,
Okay. And
But
so,
I'm still the only one.
so just a question about the PhD program. Is how different is that from it's called a DMA, Doctor of Musical Arts?
Very good, very good.
Why did you choose one over the other, and what's the difference?
Okay, very academic question, but in short, there are two types of doctoral degrees in music. PhD is very academic. So if you obtain PhD in music, you will likely become an academics, researchers and things like that. Do I look like a researcher?
You are so not a researcher.
So America, being very creative, they invented this program called Doctor of Musical Arts, where people like me with less interest in academics and more interest in being an artist would pursue double exposure. Of course, you have to defend your thesis. Yeah, I had to sit and write papers, and it was tough.
Yeah, you have to
You
write.
still have to write a lot.
So like the focus is like, I'm just really curious about something. So musicology, theory, history, composition, and then ethnomusicology.
Yes.
What is ethnomusicology?
Music of Africa's.
Okay.
Chinese, Indonesian, depending on your focus, right?
And you learned that.
Learn that.
And so what was your thesis or your dissertation on? What was it specifically?
Okay, there are two theses that you have to undertake, right? One is absolute classical music subject, and I wrote a paper on, not very interesting, but to me it was very profound. Italian opera and how they orchestrate the music experience.
And this was your paper?
That was my paper.
For your and how many pages was this thesis?
God knows, man, but it's a lot enough.
And how many years were you working on your PhD?
I spent 7 years. That's the maximum you could ask for. But you see, I was hardly at school. I was just performing, traveling. VieTrio started right there.
See, this is my next question because I want to know VieTrio. This is very interesting. So I did not know this. So your PhD was 7 years. So that means you were living in New York for 7. But then before that, you were in Yale. So in America, how many years did you live?
10.
10 years. Amazing. And you finished this PhD in 7 years. And then what?
Good question. So, like I said, I prolonged my stay as a doctoral student as long as I could. And the school said, we're going to kick you out.
Stretch it as much as you can.
As much as I can, because I was not submitting anything. I was just creating, making albums with VieTrio. 2008 was our first album. So I was traveling 4 times a year, New York and Bangkok.
Wow.
I would sketch things in New York. I still remember just sitting in the park. Most of my work on paper and writing music was done at the Yale Club, right off Grand Central. So as an alumni, you could apply for membership, right?
Yeah.
There's a gym, there's a swimming pool, beautiful library. You can print for free.
So back to now VieTrio. Okay, talk to me about the birth of VieTrio. Where did that start? How did that begin?
Asking all the right questions. Okay, VieTrio was an opportunity that I could not say no to. Like I said, there's always a side of me where I wanted to really be creative, and the more you expose yourself into professional classical music career, the more I realize that I do not enjoy the culture of being professional classical musicians. I don't like the ethics. I don't like how people practice, how they think, how they approach work. The professionalism was wonderful. I worked with some of the best musicians in the world, okay? But off stage, I didn't like the culture.
Interesting.
I didn't vibe with it.
Yeah.
And I wanted to not be part of the system, but perhaps extend so that people stop whining about why classical music is not commercialized. Mm-hmm. Because that's all you hear about. And this is 20 years ago, okay? I started to see that one day the system would collapse.
The system?
Yeah.
Would collapse.
The patronage system.
Okay.
Meaning what? Every single orchestra in America is supported by somebody, whether a rich Jewish family or a bank, if you're lucky. Guess what happened in 2008?
So that kind of came to an end.
All my friends who were the best players in the business immediately went out of job.
Wow. Yeah.
Because orchestras, when the business is not doing well,
that's it.
What do they cut? They cut the arts. Mm-hmm. And I hated that. I hated that system. I hated that all these great people, great players, people who dedicate themselves for arts and music and performing, the best stuff for humanity, immediately cannot make a living because they're relying on others to breathe.
Yeah.
So that was my biggest pain point. I was becoming more and more of a problem solver than just basically learning to better people in the business.
So explain to me, what is VieTrio? Who is VieTrio?
VieTrio was a discovery by one of the most respected, most successful tycoon in entertainment business.
Where?
In Thailand.
In Thailand.
Yeah. His name is Mr. Takongiat Virawan. You might know him as Boyd. He is the father figure of musical theater in Thailand and abroad. Here's the musical that I think he co-produced, just won Tony Awards.
Okay.
Yeah, so he invests in Broadway as well. Absolutely passionate. I met him at a party like we did.
Okay.
It was a house party, simple rooftop, actually.
Yeah.
Friend's apartment. And you know me, just t-shirt, jeans, barefoot, just rocking it out.
Yep.
Jamming with people. And he was there. He saw that. He was like, what is this?
Who is this guy?
Who is this guy? It was like, he hadn't seen violin players like that, right? And I was honestly half drunk. I was just fooling around. And,
Yeah.
you know, just rocking it out. And we started talking. I didn't know who he was. So I was sharing my pain points. I said, I really do wish where that classical music would touch the heart of people, and I would want to make it fun.
Yeah.
And he's like, why don't we talk about this? So set up a meeting, we talk about this. He realizes that I have two very beautiful sisters. Mm-hmm. Then he said, let's create a project. Why don't you come up with a name? Name. The only requirement is that he wanted to do a trio in it.
Okay.
And I wanted something that if you Google, it would have no meaning, but it needs to be a brand.
Okay.
Right? So the V is life.
Live.
Yeah. So I work with, the trio is my family, is my life. Music is my life. V is French. And French is a tribute to the late princess who supported me. She was a French major.
Wow, there's a lot of connection there.
A lot of connection. Maybe a little bit too complicated. It's hard to pronounce. Some people say VieTrio.
Yeah.
They could not pronounce it back then, but
Yeah.
that's not important.
Yeah.
They see what it is, and we changed the game. Very proud of that.
Yeah, I love this group. Is it called a band? Is that what you call it?
It's a band.
Yeah.
It's a band. It's a band of trios who does crossover classical
And
music.
what year was that was born?
The first album was released in 2008 and went straight to #1 in Thailand.
Fantastic.
You know why? Because back then, the radio stations, forget YouTube, okay? YouTube just started, I think.
Yeah.
But radio stations were influential in terms of artist exposure. So what we had to do is I had to visit all the single outlets like this.
Yeah.
Say, hello, this is our recording.
Yep.
Could you please play this? Thank you very much. Most of them would not play it.
Wow.
And we signed a recording contract with Grammy, which is the biggest entertainment management company,
In Thailand.
one of the biggest in the region.
Okay. Wow.
Yet they would not play our album.
You were essentially pounding the pavement. Like, you became a salesman. You were out there
Started selling
your album to as many people to play, and there was a lot of rejection.
Yes, and I mean the fact that we had our first album and it was one of the most personal. I was not forced into making pop music. I was exposed into just be carefree about what music I want to make. But that makes you learn more about the balance between saying what you want to say, but coming through the audience point of view of how you would be able to communicate with them. Then I realized the 3 steps of becoming the great artist back then. Looking back, I didn't have this figured out, okay? No.
Yeah.
But first you learn to be the master of your craft, meaning you got to play the hell out of your instruments. You got to navigate through your ways, right? If you don't know how to navigate through this, then forget it. Number 2, to understand all the interpretations of music. So if you play jazz, you better know what jazz is all about. You play ethnic music, you need to know what it is. I got that. why, with my education, things like that. But top of the pyramid is about being able to communicate with everybody, like one human to another.
Yes.
Like one living thing. I mean, that's why sometimes you play certain music to a tree and it grows better or whatever. There's studies. But
Watching you perform, you connect brilliantly with the audience. And that was the first thing I think back on it when I saw you're in the audience and the audience is with you. And that's just fantastic.
and that's the most important thing.
So that's number one.
That's number one. I mean, you would not know it. I make mistakes. I miss a shift. That didn't matter so much. Then I realized that there are three paths. People who sat at the top of the pyramid, they might not be the greatest players of all time, but they are the greatest communicator.
Yes.
And I got to thank people like Gongiet and Grammy for giving me that opportunity to realize that this is something that I felt fulfilled,
Yeah.
learning the entire craft of becoming better human
Yeah.
through music as your weapon,
Yeah.
right?
And-
And that's what you develop. I mean, what you saw a couple of years ago, I think,
Yeah.
was a culmination of all that. It took a long time.
What is the genre? What do you call the genre?
Crossover,
Crossover.
which means just whatever, right?
Okay. It's a mix. And did you, with your sisters, how many countries have you guys performed together?
6 continents.
6 continents. You played them all.
I haven't counted the countries, but done some cool stuff though. I mean, definitely memorable ones. Kennedy Center was very memorable.
Wow.
Washington D.C. It was good. That was the year I finished my PhD too, my doctorate degree too.
And your sisters came out for that.
Yeah, they
and
came up for that.
That's
We did
incredible.
a show at Kennedy Center. That was meaningful because my parents were there too for my graduation. Then we went over to perform.
So good.
You see, there's a profound thing about that. It's not the prestige of the place, but it's the experience you connect. We had a great time at in Doha many years ago.
Doha.
Yeah, we were put right on the tennis court after Federer beat Nikolai Davydenko at Qatar Open. I think it was 2012, whatever.
Incredible.
Yeah, and Federer was packing up his stuff, ready to pick up another trophy, right? And we stepped in and I played the song that I wrote called Immortal. I still remember the look of Federer's face.
Wow. And so the audience was there, your sisters, the 3 of you played, and it must have been amazing.
Yeah, we played. It was live on Al Jazeera.
Amazing.
It was fun, man.
Incredible.
And, music takes you to incredible places. But the key is really to understand who you talk to. If you're in Cairo, it's different. In Cambodia, it's just absolutely different. It's
Yeah.
not.
Totally different.
And it's something that you learn along the way of communicating. Sometimes you get it right. Sometimes you're in Singapore, in a private investment bankers conference, and they didn't care what you did on stage. They have the money to hire you. They didn't care.
And you always put on
What do you do about that?
So good.
How do you engage?
Yeah.
How do you get a bit of attention? Not always easy,
It's amazing, and I'm so grateful for your performance at Art Battle last year.
No, I'm grateful for your
That was just-
creation of Art Battle. It's inspiring. Okay, I think it's time for me to interview you back. You've done so much in different businesses. And, with something you've done, it generated incredible financial successes. And I would have thought someone like you would jump into arts. That's not something you would collect arts, but invest your time and
Yeah.
efforts, creativity, and you sweat it out.
Yeah.
Why?
That's a great question. I've had a passion for art in all its forms for a long, long time, and that's developed and it's grown, and and my love for art has expanded. And when I learned about Art Battle for the first time 10, 12 years ago, it was an incredible experience for me. And at the time here in Thailand, I had the time, and then I thought, okay, I've never been in the art business. Let's try the art business. I've never been in the event business. Put those two together. Let's see what happens. And it's been an adventure for me. But my experience watching Art Battle was so powerful for me that if other people could experience the same thing, I would find that very satisfying, very fulfilling for me. And then Thailand has been so good to me since I've been here that if there's a way I can contribute to the art community, put a dent in the art community or lift it up at all, that would be also very fulfilling. And so that was the kind of the genesis of starting that program here in Thailand.
I mean, that's just absolutely powerful statement because I've been there, seeing you build it, seeing you conceiving this conceptual idea and take the first one off the ground.
You came to that first event, and I'm just so curious about what your thoughts were before that. Like, who is this? Like, guy, is this going to be a show? Is it going to actually happen? Did you have any?
We didn't know each other that well. When you stopped by, kind enough to talk to me, give me your contact, and you say you want to do Art Battle. I'm like, what is this? The concept is simple, right? But I did not know, being a Thai, living in Thailand, but obviously I'm a hybrid. I'm not really that Thai. I wanted to see how people would react to it. So I was an open book. I went in, didn't know what to expect, and I was blown away, man. I'm like, if only I could do something like that with music. Wouldn't that be amazing?
Wow.
And of course, we had a little chat about music and Art Battle, but we'll get to that.
Okay.
Hopefully.
So here's my next topic that I'm very curious about. I want to understand how Vemus International School of Music, how was that born? Where did that start? And talk to me about the beginning of that.
Well, my family and I, we have always been educators of music. Obviously, as performers, we have our ways, we do our thing. As VieTrio, we created not just the pathway of our new career. Obviously, I still maintain my career as a classical violinist. I love the fact that I could get up on stage, play a concerto with a large orchestra, a very conventional classical thing, right? In a concert hall. Then step into a bar with VieTrio and just rock it out.
Like
then Saturday morning,
that's amazing.
Being able to educate music education the way we want to express ourselves, because obviously, it's, to me, I think it came down to two words: pain point and passion.
Yeah.
If you can collide the two and see what happens. The pain point was that music education, in our point of view, number one, I think we can raise the bar, not by ourselves, but by the way we were taught music and our affiliation with the world. So that's one thing. The other thing is that we believe that music should be part of everybody's lives, because it is a force for good. Okay, if you're a young person learning how to be a better human being, music is a great way to do it, because if you don't listen, you can't play, right? You can be blind and play music really well, but if you don't hear, that's it. Can't. They say percussion players, they can feel the vibration. That's right. Okay, fine, right? Vibration is another thing. But to play violin, no. You would have to learn to listen. The listening skill is not seen so much these days. People have something to say, but they don't know how to listen. I think music comes in. Number two, collaboration. If you play in a group, in a band, you need to learn how to work as a team. Mm-hmm. And your contribution as a master of your craft into a group is two very different skills. So that's a soft skill you can learn from music, right? And it has other benefits in the brain. You can go on and on about the studies that they have. But anyway, we wanted to give what it is to feel the music in the household and to be loved by it and to bond families. That was really what Vemus was all about. Vemus, V obviously is something that we carry. Mus is music.
Right.
So Vemus is life and music combined. And the way our objectives is not to build professional musicians, because it's not the industry that I would advise people to get into.
Wow. So that's difficult.
It's difficult.
I don't know. People want to play music that want to do that for a career and they want to earn a living, but you advise against it.
Yes, because you got to give everything. It's a make or break, and it's not for everybody.
Yeah. So then what is the goal of Vemus?
Vemus is to create global citizen.
Okay.
It's really that simple. A good quality global citizen through excellent music training, which means what you learn from music needs to be your tools to greater good and also greater pathway towards whatever it is that you seek. Very proud to say that our school for the last 16, 17 years have produced professional musicians, obviously. We have one of my violin students now work in Silicon Valley with Google.
Okay.
We have students who attended most of the major Ivy League schools, and they're all really good players.
So the idea for this school started in your head, and was it you?
It was my dad, actually.
Your dad.
My dad was a pioneer of setting up things, right? He set up a school for Bangkok Symphony years and years ago, and it was very successful. And one day, with the VieTrio getting popularity, he had an idea of setting up an institution that belongs to us. So he talked to us. And a funny story, he came up with an idea of a school, but he already went to find a space and signed a lease.
Without even discussing it?
Nothing.
Okay.
He just went over this shopping mall, newly opened, called Esplanade in Rashada. He said, "This is the place. Sign the lease."
It's done.
Told us that evening, it's done. Got to do it.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. But you see, it wasn't far-fetched. We could teach music.
Yeah.
But now we are an entrepreneur building something as families.
So what year was this that you guys started this?
This is 2009.
2009. And the current space that you're in now, how long have you guys been there?
Well, we expanded to 3 schools. We closed down the original space after 12 years because the environment wasn't something that we align anymore. You know how town change.
Yeah.
Rashada changed a lot the last 16, 17 years.
This is a part of Bangkok, or is it?
Yes, it's in Bangkok itself.
Just a part of Bangkok, yeah.
CBD area, kind of.
Okay.
We had a school in Tonglaw, I think 14 years now.
Okay. And so the development and the launch of this, was it a collaboration with you and your father and your sisters? Was everybody involved with the development?
Yes, it was our first family business.
Wow. Okay.
Well, VieTrio is we are performers. We work together, obviously, and it's a business in its own right.
Yeah.
Okay, but to run an educational business, this is what we realize. I mean, we are not entrepreneurial family. We're not that, but we are good learners.
Yeah.
I realized that I was very confident that I could teach well. I'm confident that my dad would lay good foundations. But I realized that it has nothing to do with running a school. To have a good education system and to run an educational system as an institution is a whole different ballgame.
Okay.
Because you have to understand fixed costs, you have to manage people,
there's a business,
manage other teachers, employers, employees, relationship.
Describe to me the business model.
Well, it's a very simple business model. You got to fill in the rooms as many hours as possible a day, every day.
Okay.
Just like any other schools, right?
Yeah.
Even college. That's basically the business model. Different with Harvard Business School, obviously. They lose money when they admit people.
Right.
But that is an investment for them to gain later on. If you want to make quick buck, I would not recommend. education business.
Right.
But if you really believe in education and making people's lives better, is actually a very meaningful journey. And I think we break even within the first couple of years.
First couple of years. That's good.
It's not bad. I mean, it's not massive investment comparing to other people, but
Do you remember what the investment was?
not a lot.
Okay.
Not a lot. Just seven figure.
7 figures.
Baht. Not US.
Yeah, 7-figure baht. Okay. And yeah. And now, how many students do you guys have?
Ups and downs, it swings. Obviously, post-COVID, we lost about 30%.
Okay.
But it's making its way back.
Building back up.
We had maximum of 3 schools in 3 locations. We closed one. We decided to close another one due to unforeseen circumstances. We didn't want to, and I don't want to get into details, but it was not a pretty ending. Okay. But anyway, it also makes us think, because we've been a school for 17 years, approaching 17th year, and we're quite reputable in what we do. But now the question is, why? It's always the why, right? Why does a kid, a Gen Z, would need music in his life? Is it because he needs to go and take graded exam and have portfolios? Maybe that's one of the sides. Or can it mean something that gives him creative ideas and have music as part of a more relevant, not just in his life, but in the world that we live in today? So this is what I think really hard about in terms of what Vemus is going, and of course the entertainment industry where VieTrio is. Our past success doesn't matter too much anymore. The changing world order is here now. You got to think differently. You approach differently. That's why you've been seeing my orchestra lurking around here and there, because this is something that I want to recreate. It's about building a new economy.
That's ambitious.
Quite ambitious, but you only live once,
And so for a student to become a student at your school, how difficult is it? What do they have to do to qualify?
Well, you just have to sign up. We have about 50 teachers who would accommodate, right?
Okay.
You could be absolute beginners. You could be a grown-up adults who want to fulfill his musical childhood,
So it's
whatever.
all ages.
We had quite a few of that.
Okay.
Yeah, all ages. And we could go as young as 2.5 years old. A lot of schools don't admit adults because they didn't think it was appropriate to teach adults. We welcome adults. We had a very successful business tycoon coming in at 65, wanting to learn violin.
That's great.
More than welcome. Wonderful.
And currently, what are the biggest challenges right now with your business?
I think it's the fact that the margin is not that big.
Yeah.
When you do school business, right? But if you run a school as per lesson per day, and you manage to fill the rooms and pay your teachers well, making it sustainable, it will keep going. But the question is how we can elevate the business and take it to the next level. That is always a challenge, right? And obviously music as a subject of study, what do you call it? Varies. Let's say during COVID, you probably don't need to study music.
Yeah.
Or when the economy is not good, parents will already cut off music lessons or tone it down a bit. They would not invest as much as they used to. So we rely, again, way too much on what's going on in the world, which means we have to think differently. We have to service. We have to come up with a better reason why they should take up music.
Yeah. And so what sets this school, your school, apart from the others in the region?
I think it's the fact that we are not doing it as a businessman or as a business venture, because we were never perceived as one, right? We are a musical family.
Yeah.
We are known to be an artist.
Yeah.
To be a very, very, very solid first and second generation classical musicians in this country with vast networks of international collaborations that we have, and that is a culmination of my dad's generation up to ours. That's 40 years of networks and experience and everything, and I think that is the most important thing. You gotta have something that's unmatched. Okay, we are not the greatest business family, but we have had amazing parents who are very successful at what they do, helping us, teaching us, advising of what we should do.
It's interesting. You don't take credit for being a great business person or business family, but you're in a business that's small margins, but you're also in it for a long time. And that means you're clearly doing something right.
Well, I mean, like I said, you can't get there alone, right? I mean, you get there because some people see the value of it, and they're willing to invest their time and money. If you're talking to me about the exponential growth, I don't think I can give you that. I'm working on it. I do believe that music industry as an economy can really grow, and I think classical music can be part of that. So that's one of the goals that I'm working on. But in terms of education, it works differently. Okay, to be able to be sustainable is one thing, but we also want to elevate the teacher's payroll, because like I said, as one music teacher to another, I want to be able to support young music teachers to have better livelihood through teaching music and to make a good living as music teacher, as they aspire themselves to be.
That's a challenge.
It's tall order.
Yeah.
But when you're not just doing it for yourselves, it kind of drives you to a different place.
So, I mean, what are the three main ingredients, if you had to say three things, in order to have a successful music school?
You got to be a specialist, number one. If you are not equipped with your experience and knowledge that you have, you are just one of the teachers. But people come to us because we are mentors. Because the culture that we build at school, when you walk in, you are entering a family home. That's what Vemus is all about. So the school we build, we invest a lot. Let's say a branch, we would spend at least 5-6 million baht just decorating.
Okay.
It's a lot of money for a music school. We're not building a luxury, store here. But I want people to feel that when they go in, they're walking into a person's home and they want to stay. So what happens with Vemus is a community. It's not really a school where transactionally people come in, drop their kids, they will go have coffee, pick up their kids and go home.
It's different.
It's a different vibe.
You mentioned that. You said that most other schools are very transactional.
Rightfully, okay, if you run it as a business, you gotta have a turnover, right? It's the same thing with cafe and restaurants.
Yeah.
You want to turn over. You can't have one sittings anymore. It just doesn't work. Yes, we want to fill up the rooms, from day to night. That's the business model. It's really that simple. But what makes it successful is the community that we build, like-minded. I'm not saying it's for everybody. Some people don't tick. And there's always three pillars, is us as a mentor, educator, is the student body that we have, and the parents. When the parents are like-minded, it really solidifies the culture of the school and the community, to the point where if certain families come in and they do not fit in, they could not stay. Doesn't matter how much money they have.
And here's just something I'm very curious about, because we talked about musicians being professional and going on and having a career, but you don't want to recommend that to have an exclusive livelihood as a musician.
In 2008, we released a sort of a self-help book that went straight to the top of the chart also. And it was one of the first self-help books around, right, in Thai language. And I flipped through and I said one thing very profound about, do what you love kind of thing, very common back in the days. If someone comes up to me right now and asks for career advice, I would still say do what you love, but do what you love that has 80% employment rate today.
Okay.
And save the other 20 for your passion. And of course, learn finance.
Yeah, learn finance, yeah.
Be an artist, but learn finance. Be a doctor, go ahead, learn finance. Be a good violinist, still learn finance.
Yeah.
Not as a degree, but as a well-being.
Yeah. So what's the next big step for you guys?
The next big step. Well, it's life is a journey. Every time I get together, you have new ideas.
Yeah.
You're doing new things. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
And now we're sitting here, being your guest. This is some powerful stuff, by the way. This is inspiring.
Thank you.
It's inspiring, and it's the next step. Well, it's always the cultural commerce. I call it cultural commerce.
Cultural commerce.
Commerce.
Okay.
Yes, it needs to go hand in hand, right? Understand the world we live in, the capitalistic side of things, the financial side of things, and the industrial side of things. I would never advise people to get into sunset industry.
Sunset?
Meaning industry that don't grow anymore.
Okay, gotcha.
You got it? Music as an industry around the world is still trying to figure itself out. It doesn't know what's going on. Spotify changed the game, yes, but it also diminished musicians' earning at the same time. The cake is bigger, but the chunks are very, very small. That's why you have all these big artists going against all these streaming platforms now, right? Because it's just not ethical. It's as a creator, okay? And of course, all these platforms, when TikTok blows up, everything that was done with music is within 15 seconds. It's a good idea, okay? I'm saying that we have to understand the narratives of the world we live in and the changing world order that we're embracing right now. So if you are still sitting in that old world, be my guest. I hope you're happy. I hope you're living a fulfilled life. But as a conductor that ran young orchestras for the last 8 years, I've seen so many people aspiring to be something, but they're not living in an environment that provides that. I'm not saying move to London, okay? London is not. Top professional musicians in London cannot afford to live in London anymore. The price of living is just not matched. In Bangkok, it's still okay, but it's almost like 20 years ago when I see the culture of classical music, and I kind of knew that this was going to happen. I'm seeing that again. And I do think that the new generation of trained musicians, they're amazing in what they do. But if they are going to grow in this environment, Southeast Asia, humid, hot, unsettled political, not exactly the best economic growth for the last few years, how do you place them? How do you guide them to be what they aspire to be, but at the same time making a good, happy life that they seek? Meaning, if these people are good at two things, you got to be able to help them with at least one, right? And this is the world I want to see. I want to see a top doctor wearing his gown, doing his workshop, whatever, take off the gown, pick up a drum kit, and play in a band professionally. The time is now. And I have that drummer in my orchestra.
Good.
Top urologist.
Okay.
And absolutely clinical drummer. When he plays, it's almost watching a doctor doing operations. Just clinical, absolute correctness. And he's exporting himself to something that he truly loves. You know, I mean, he makes nothing compared to being a doctor, but you see, there's more to life. And I'm seeing more and more of these emerging new talents. I call them the hybrid multi-skills individuals.
Yeah.
And you see this. You see computer science major. I used to have an oboe player who attends MIT now. Computer science. And you have these kind of breeds that are coming out, and they do not want to jump into classical music industry. And you have the answer. They're too clever.
Yeah.
But what if we can provide a platform for these people to live a double life, like a Batman?
Hybrid.
They can still be doing what they're good at, but also at night put on your cape
Yeah.
and be a fantastic clarinet player that you saw the other day. That guy works in a massive conglomerate. But here's the thing, though: it's not amateur hours here. Okay, if you're not good enough, you're not in. It's a talent agency, which means the clarinet player that you saw in my orchestra, he has been with me for over 10 years.
Wow.
As a clarinetist. And we had this conversation. I have a French horn player who runs craft beer company. Fantastic in both sides. And I introduced him to the owner of craft beer company, and now he manages it. And still play the French horn like top professionals. This is an environment. No, I'm not saying that it's ideal, but it is a climate that we have to embrace, survive, and endure.
Very good. Thank you, Paye. I enjoyed this.
No, thank you. Thank you for asking all the right questions.